All right, before we start here, we just have a little announcement that Saturday, September 20th game against Toledo here in Kalamazoo will be at 3:30 p.m. and on ESPN Plus. Now we'll start. Thank you for coming to Coach Taylor's weekly press conference. We'll start off with an opening statement from Coach, and then we'll take questions.
Our players and coaches came in yesterday, really graded the film, looked at the North Texas really tough loss, overtime loss against a really good North Texas team. I really thought the players came in with the right attitude and response to a really hard-fought game. I talked about this after the game to our players and also to the media when I mentioned I am proud of our team's effort. I thought they laid it on the line for 60-plus minutes, including overtime. I thought that they did a lot of really good things, showed a lot of grit in that game, which we've talked a lot about. And I thought their response to a tough loss was what you would want to see from them coming in on a Sunday grading the tape. They were disappointed in the result, as we all were. I think we made too many mistakes in critical situations. There were too many penalties that hurt us in critical areas. And really that was, the story of the game. We made enough plays to keep ourselves in the game and have a chance to win the game, but made too many mistakes in critical situations and too many penalties in critical situations and really beat ourselves. So as we attack this next week, I thought that, they came in, we looked at the film, we looked in the mirror, what can we do better as coaches and players? We all attacked the day yesterday. I'm really excited about a great week this week as we head and face a really good Illinois team. Really well-coached team. But I want to thank our fans, our students, our alumni. The game day atmosphere on Saturday was awesome. It's always great. It was our first home game back at Waldo, first home game of the 25 season. I say this all the time, but I can't thank our fans and the support that you guys give us enough. It really does help affect the game. Our players feed off of the energy. I think that you guys saw that. We played really well at times, and it helps give a competitive advantage against North Texas and our opponents. They had trouble at the line of scrimmage and getting plays called. I think that's a testament to our fans and support, and really want to continue to thank our fans and support. But I will say this from my standpoint. I am proud of our players. I'm proud of our coaches. They prepared well all week, and it showed up on game day. We didn't make enough plays in the end to win the game, and we had enough mistakes to beat ourselves. But I'm always going to live by my core principles and values of faith, family, and football. And, I was reminded yesterday, in the Bible it says, "For we walk by faith, not by sight." And sometimes when the results aren't there or we don't get the outcome that we want, everybody wants to throw stones. I'm really proud of this group of players and this group of coaches. The effort, we are so much further along in year 3 than we have been. I can see that. I hope our fans can see that. We're really close. We've got to be able to put 60 minutes together, not just 30 minutes, not just 35 minutes, not 50 minutes. We've got to be able to put 60 minutes of really good football together to get the result that we want. But they are committing to the process of what it takes to be a winner and be champions. And, sometimes you don't see the results as quickly as you want, but I know that we're doing the right things. I know our players are doing the right things. They're preparing the right way, and the outcomes will take care of themselves.
Coach Matt Ayler with MLive. You've had 7 sacks from a front that you were excited about entering this season. What do you think has allowed that unit to kind of thrive, and was that a big emphasis coming into this offseason?
Yeah, Matt, that's a great question, and one you and I have talked about at length this offseason. I've been really excited. One, I think it has to do with players, not plays. You have to have great players to create those TFL, those havoc plays. We've got really good players up front. I've been raving about these guys all offseason. I think you guys, I think our fans, I think people are getting to see exactly what we saw in the offseason that we were excited about. These guys, it's a talented group, but it's also a deep deep group that we can roll multiple people in. I think you saw that from game 1 to game 2. I mean, game 1, Nadeem Tucker's kind of the player of the game up front and has, a bunch of TFLs and sacks and production. This game, it was, Rodney McGraw. I mean, I think we're going to take turns because of the depth that we have up front. And I also think that our coaches are doing an excellent job putting them in position to succeed. Coach O'Leary has done an excellent job with our defensive staff and just our defensive scheme, making sure that we put our players in position to use their strengths well. And then, Coach Seth Payne, our D-line coach, and Coach Sean Spence, our edges coach, they have done an excellent job really just honing in on the technique and fundamentals. And I think that that's where we're so much better this year up front than we have been, is the technique and fundamentals. When you watch us from a run game or pass game, like our block destruction, our get off at the line of scrimmage, just the little details are so much better than they have been in the past. And I think that comes down to coaching, teaching, and our players being willing to receive that and work on it.
I know you touched on it on the post game, but I wanted to see after watching the film if you were any closer to a decision at quarterback, who you're going to start, how that game plan is going to work, in week 3.
Yeah, the quarterback decision. That's one that really will probably take all week to continue to decide. I think as I watched as Walt and I went back and watched the tape. We continue to see good things from both players. I think Brock came in, and in this game in particular, Brady started the game, right? He goes the first 2 series, and then we put Brock in. Well, Brock's first series, he goes down and scores. The very next series, he goes down and scores. And so it really was a matter of Brock had the hot hand. He was moving our offense efficiently and effectively, and we controlled the game at the line of scrimmage up front because he allowed us in the Q run game to be able to play 11-on-11 football and force them to honor his legs with the run game. And so I think I think it's going to be a week-to-week really assessment, honestly, Matt. And I know that's not a coach speak or a cop out to not give you an answer. I mean, we didn't plan to play Brock as much. We planned to rotate just like we did in the first game against Michigan State. But Brock was playing really well. Our offense was playing really well behind Brock, and we wanted to go with Brock. And so I think we will assess each week which player gives us the best opportunity against what the defense or our opponent has given us, and then as we get in the game, who is playing the best. At some point, we would like to name a starter. I would. At some point, we would like to go to a 1 quarterback system, name a starter. But as long as both players provide value for our football team, we're going to play both.
And then you had a significant injury on the first defensive series. Just wanted to know if you had any update on August and what you expect from him.
Yeah, August Johannes, he had surgery this morning. He's going to be out for a long period of time. Tough blow for him. I tell you what, you want to talk about a great kid, a great teammate, a great work ethic. His teammates love him, and he's really worked his way into a starting role. Was really excited, and then on the first defensive snap of the game, gets leg whipped and rolled up on. Really tough break for him. And those are the ones that, every injury that when you have a player who's given so much, poured so much into, improving, but also being a great teammate and working his way and overcoming adversity and persevering to be able to play. I think, those are the stories that you love in football, and he really had done that. I'm really proud of Augie. I think, his teammates love him. We all love him. He's going to be very missed, but he had surgery this morning, so he'll be out for an extended period of time.
Joseph Hartzell at the Western Herald. I wanted to look ahead to next weekend's game against Illinois. Defense that forced 5 turnovers this weekend against a good Duke team. What do you want to see from your team in preparation to limit turnovers against a team that's really wreaked havoc this year?
Yeah, you just mentioned, this is a really good football team. Coach Bielema has done an excellent job. I got a chance to meet and spend some time with Coach Bielema this offseason. Really good coach, really good human being. I appreciate who he is and what he does, not only for his team, but for us as coaches, as one of the leaders of our, AFCA Coaches Convention. And he's on several committees for us. But I really enjoyed the time I got to spend with him. I think, he does a great job. His teams are always well prepared. They're physical. They're They're tough. They're not going to beat themselves. And what they really did, in the first 2 weeks shows. I mean, it's a top 10 football team. We knew as we looked at the schedule in the offseason, all the talent and all the returning production that they were bringing back, that they were going to be a really good football team. I think that they are going to be a really tough test for a football team. But again, the way that I talked to our players yesterday, it's a great opportunity for us to continue to get better. And really, it doesn't matter who you play. It doesn't matter whether they're the number 9 team in the country, you play North Texas and you go to overtime. How can we continue to get better and play to our standard and continue? And I think maybe you asked me this or somebody asked me this at post game, but I think these type of games and this early season gauntlet helps prepare us for our MAC play. And we're not looking to MAC play yet. We're looking, today, how do we get better? How do we play great this week? But I do think that it helps you continue to see, the areas that you need to get better in as we move forward and where some of our weaknesses are so that we can work on those early in the season. So as we get to our MAC schedule, we can, really use some of these. We're battle tested as we get into those.
Did you see anything on film from that Duke team that you wanted to adopt, whether offensively or defensively, that you think might have success against Illinois this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I won't, make any comments about what we saw from other teams. I think we always look at what other teams do and, how they attack our opponents week to week. That's one of the first things that we do is go back and, what did Duke do well? We even go back and look at last season's games and, extensively look at, what are some of the things that have caused Illinois, or some of the things that opponents have done to cause them issues. But ultimately, when you go into a game like this, to be honest with you, we have to do what we do well. We're not Duke. We have to be Western Michigan, and I think we're starting to become the Western Michigan team that we wanted to become. We ran the football really well this week. Our defense is creating those havoc and turnover plays. We just have to continue to fine-tune the details of what we're working on and our schemes. And when you go into a game like this, a non-conference game against a really good opponent, you can't try to get cute. You can't try to do too much or do something that you're not good at. You really have to hang your hat on what you do well and try to do it at a high level.
What do you think needs to carry over for that running game to see success like you saw on Saturday against North Texas?
Yeah, I think a lot of what you saw has to carry over. I think we had 216 rushing yards. Jalen Buckley had over 100 yards. I thought offensively, our offensive line came off and we won at the point of attack. We created an edge and a mentality up front that I wanted to see that we did not create in the Michigan State game. And I thought that we owned the week of practice. We had a great week of preparation, and that gritty week of preparation showed up on game day. And our players really attacked the line of scrimmage. We owned the line of scrimmage, and Buckley ran hard. Devin Miles ran hard. Brock, when he had the football, he ran hard. I want to see that continue and carry over. I think that those, that's how we're built and how we want to win football games.
Coach, your secondary played against a prolific passing team, North Texas. What did you see out of your secondary Saturday?
Yeah. I saw a unit that was really flying around from our secondary, a unit that was really flying around, denying the ball, making everything contested. I think that, against a prolific high-flying, high-powered offense, you have to make everything contested. You have to make everything hard. And that was what I saw. You didn't see guys running wide open down the field. Everything was contested. They challenged everything and really made them earn every yard that they got. And, I thought we played – for 3 quarters, we played really well. I thought in the fourth quarter, whether it was we got tired as a team or, because the score got close, we didn't play the same in the fourth quarter and overtime as we did those first 3 quarters. We've got to, and I told our players and coaches this yesterday, we have to look in the mirror. Why? Was it because we were tired? Or was it because we now became scared or fearful to make a mistake and not want to lose the game instead of playing to win the game? And so we've got to answer that as coaches and players. And, that's on me as a head coach. I mean, we can't get in those big moments and now be scared to make a mistake. I don't want our players to feel that. I didn't feel that. I have trust in our players and coaches. I was in the defensive huddle and the offensive huddle in between timeouts trying to rally those guys because I believed for every second of that game until the freaking last play that we were going to win that game. I believed in our guys, and I do. I believe in the team that we have. I believe in the coaches that we had. I thought we had an excellent game plan, and our players executed it, but we didn't make enough plays there in the end. And I don't know, again, was it we were tired and we allowed their tempo to dictate to us how we played, or were we fearful of not making a mistake?
And then the passing game, there wasn't a whole lot of that on Saturday. You were running the ball pretty successfully. I'm sure it was part of the game plan to shorten the game against those guys and do it by running the football, but you did get some passing yardage in the first game. And so is there some mix that you're looking for, or does it depend on who's playing quarterback or who you're playing against as to how you're going to call those?
Yeah, I think the thing that I'm excited about, Robin, is you saw in the first game we were able to push the ball down the field and be explosive. We created some explosive passes. In this game, just by design of who we were playing and how we wanted the game to play, we were going to run the football, try to limit their number of possessions on offense. We were going to try to, win the time of possession and really try to grind out the clock. And so, but I think you saw, this team has, this team offensively has the ability to do both, which to me, I've always, I've said in the 3 years that I've been here, ultimately you want to be balanced. You don't want to be one-dimensional where defenses can take you away. And I think in the 2 games that we've played, we've shown that we can throw the ball down the field, we can be explosive with our with our wideouts and our quarterbacks, and that we can run the football effectively and efficiently. And so I think, as we put those things together, we continue to put this team together. Those are the building blocks to me that are going to help make us successful as we continue to build this thing.
I know you mentioned a little bit about the O-line, but you rotated quite a few guys in there. Anybody in particular that might have stood out?
In terms of rotation or just period up front? Yeah. So, I think our starting 5 continues to play really well. I want to compliment, Adam Vandervest. I thought, from game 1 to game 2, he improved so much. He missed all of last season, and, week 1 was not up to his standard. I know he was disappointed in how he played. He really challenged himself as he came into this week. I thought he played so much better this week, and how he played. I really just want to compliment him and give him some love there, because he really worked hard this week. And then, I thought, Jeremy Sliker continues to play well at center for us as a freshman playing for us the first time. We've got to limit the number of bad snaps that we've had. We've had 2 games in a row where we've had balls on the ground, and he works extremely hard at that. Pre-practice and post-practice, he's there snapping the ball extra. He cares. It's important to him. He was upset and disappointed with those snaps after the game, so I know he's going to continue to get those things cleaned up. John Hofer has been a linchpin for us there at left guard, has played really well. And then Raheem Anderson came in and played really well for us. I think Raheem is a guy that we've got to continue to elevate and get some more snaps. We feel really good with our starting 5, but to me, Raheem Anderson and Zach Vaughn are 2 guys that can play some more snaps for us. And like you've seen in the past 2 years, Robin, we've played a lot of guys up front, and it helps in the longevity of a season to keep guys fresh by playing more people.
And then also your kicker and punter had a really good game, both of them. Ryan Milmore's, he's having a great start to his season. That punt he made down at the 2-yard line was impressive.
Yeah, I thought special teams wise played really well. I really challenged special teams. I thought Coach Sabak had a great plan going into this game, and you talked about our punter and kicker. Ryan Milmore punted the ball extremely well. I think he had 4 pooch punts inside the 20. I think he had 2 inside the 5, which really flipped the field position. Last week against Michigan State, we were against the field position battle. Didn't win the field position battle because of several punts that they pinned us on. This week we won the field position battle because of Ryan Milmore's pooch punts. And then Palmer had a great day. I think he was named MAC Special Teams Player of the Week. He had 3 field goals all over 40 yards. He had a 40-yarder, a 43-yarder, and a 48-yarder. Really hit the ball extremely well. And I think it gives him confidence, and it also gives me confidence to put him in some of those tough situations, to be able to make some tough kicks. And I think that confidence that you saw him build will continue to help our team. And he's going to score a lot of points for our team this year, which I'm excited about and will help us down the stretch.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys. Go Broncos.